So what you're going to need is paintbrush, a big and a small, and you're going to need the primaries, blue, red, yellow, and black and white. And we're going to make like a little lake with a little mountain in the background, some sky, and a little kayak. So the first thing we're going to do is start with our sky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my brush in a little bit of blue, and kind of above the center of the canvas I'm going to make a straight line going all the way across. That's going to be our horizon line. That is the line where our sky or our mountains meet the water. So what we're going to do, we're going to do our sky first. So I'm going to put a nice stripe of blue. But we want our sky to be really light, so I'm going to wash and dry my brush. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some white, and I'm going to put some white into that sky. Alright, so I have my sky done there, and what I'm going to do next is we're going to work on our little lake. So our lake is going to be blue first, but before we start our lake, what I am going to do is I'm going to draw the top of our kayak. So all I'm going to do right in the center, I'm going to put like a dot, and then I'm just going to connect that dot to the sides, to the bottom of the canvas. So that is going to be the top of our kayak. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint everything using that blue. I'm just going to put a little white into it. When you're painting, you should go left to right. It'll just make things easier. And if you get a little in your kayak, that's okay. A little white and a little white into there. Alrighty, so we have our lake. Next, we're going to make some mountains. So my mountains, I am going to take my plate. I'm going to make like a lighter blue, but it just needs to be darker than our sky. So I am going to take some mountain. I'm going to start where my lake and my sky meet, and I'm just going to make some mountains. One right here, and I'm going to bring it into my lake. These will darken our lake in just a little bit. And then I'm going to make a shade lighter, but it's still darker than our sky. Put another mountain right here. And then I'm just going to put one more mountain, a little guy over here. Alright, so now we have to go back and redo that horizon line. So I'm going to take a little blue and go back over my original horizon line. When I am doing this, I'm also going to add a smidgen of black up there too. Just, it's almost going to create like a navy. And that will just separate our sky, our mountains, and our lake. All right. Now I'm just going to put a little white and mix a little bit of white. I'm going to leave it kind of chunky into my lake. I just want my lake to have all different streaks of color in it. Alright. So we need to let this background dry. As we're letting the background dry, I'm actually going to work on my kayak a little. So you have to determine what color you want your kayak. Advice I would give you, I would either do like a green or a red. So I am actually going to do red, because if any of this blue is wet, the red will help blend. So I'm just going to fill that whole shape in with red. As I'm adding the red, I'm going to add a teeny bit of white. And you might still see the blue, but that's okay. I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to let it all dry, and then we'll come back and add like a little island with some trees, finish our kayak, put another coat on, make some rocks over here. It'll look beautiful. Alright, so I let this dry a little bit. You'll still see a little patches of wet, but what we're going to start on, we're going to mix some colors while we're waiting. So what we're going to need is we're going to need a tiny bit of gray. So I'm going to make some gray. So I'm going to put some white aside and then mix a tiny bit of black. And there I have my gray. The next color we're going to need is some green. So I already started making some. So I'm going to take some blue and some yellow. So there I have my green. Next color we're going to make is the most fun color to make. It's brown. So I'm going to take a little yellow, take a little red, mix it together, and then take a little blue, mix it in there. And then I'm seeing it's a little purplish, so that means I'm going to need to add more yellow. And you're eventually, if you mix all the colors together, you get a nice brown. That looks like a pretty good brown. I'm going to add a little white to it so you can see it better. That looks pretty good. So I have green, brown, gray. Perfect. So the first step, what I am going to do is from my right side of my canvas, I'm going to make like a little island. So I'm going to use that brown, and I'm going to make a little island. And we're going to have some trees coming off of this island. Make a little island. I'm going to take a little white. So some blue's coming through, but that's okay. Taking a little yellow. Okay, so that's good for my island right now. Next, I'm going to wash out my brush. And I'm going to add some rocks. So I'm going to use some gray, and I'm going to just put some rocks over here. And you want them to be like weird shapes. They shouldn't be like perfect circles. I'm going to put black on the bottom of one just so it darkens it. I'm going to do that same thing, so I put black on the bottom of it, and then I take the paint off my brush and just mix it with that gray. Put a little more gray on this one. So I have my rocks. Steer clear of those if you're in the kayak. Next thing I'll do is I'm going to put a second coat on my kayak. So take that red, put just a second coat. We're going to let those parts dry, and while we're letting those parts dry, I'm going to find my small brush. And what we're going to do is we're going to make some trees. So off this island, there's going to be a whole bunch of trees. So what I want you to do is from this island with black and a small brush, make 1, 2, 3 lines. All different heights would work best. And then I'll show you my technique for making trees. And I'm going to actually use a big brush to do it. So by the lake, there's always pine trees. So I'm going to make some pine trees. So I'm going to take my brush. It is pretty flat. All the bristles are together. I'm going to take I'll take some black first, let it dry, and then I'm going to put green on top of it. I put black on my brush. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to use the corner of my brush, and I'm going to slowly, as I go down the trunk of the tree, I'm just dabbing. As I go down the trunk of the tree, I get a little wider. So it's almost going to give my tree like a triangle shape. So I'm going to do it again. So I start at the top of my tree, only a little bit, and I dab, and then I start going down, and as I go down, I get a little wider to make like a triangle. And there I have my little pine trees. So I'm going to let those dry. I am going to let those dry, and then we'll add some green to it. And actually, I'm going to put I'm going to spread out my paint on my kayak because it's a little pinky. I'm going to go back and put a second coat on my island because it got a little green. Good. Get this to dry a little bit. Once I get it to dry, I'm going to take some green that I made, and I'm just going to put some green on those trees. Just dab a little bit of green. Might mix with your black, but that's okay. Beautiful. So we have some trees over there. We have our rocks over here. And we have our kayak. So there's a couple things we need to do for our kayak. We are going to put a circle on it. So right in the middle you can put a circle in black. When you make a circle, always start off small and then gradually make it bigger. And then I'm going to take a small brush, my little small brush, and towards the top, I'm going to just take black and I'm going to make X's. So it's like the string of our kayak. You could also, if you want, put a little black on the sides just to outline it. Get really ambitious, what you guys could do is you can make an oar. So to make an oar, all I'm going to do is put a black line, and then you have to put a little circle on the end. I'm going to make that in orange just to stay in the red family and give a little warmness to the painting. just a circle at the end. And I'm probably going to need 2 coats because that orange is going to take a little bit to cover that blue. So I have my oar. On the left side, I'm going to keep on just adding details. On the left side, right around the horizon line, I'm going to put another little island. I'm not going to put any trees, it's just the illusion of something is there. Maybe I'll put 1 tree. Let's put 1 tree. We're already really good at making them. Maybe I'll put 2. Black trunks, and then I'm going to take my bigger brush with some black and just dab going down. I'll let those dry a little bit and then I'll put some green on top of those. But our little kayak painting is coming out great. So I'm just going to put a little green. Got a lot of green on there. Put a little green. And then all we have to do is let this dry a little bit. I'm going to put another coat of orange while we're here. All right. So all you have to do is let this dry a little bit. You can sign it on the corner and call it a day. You made yourself a little lake painting. I hope you guys had fun. It was it's not so easy, but it was a quick little painting. All right, guys, make sure you send us your creations. I want to see what you guys did. And I hope you guys have the great rest of the summer.